he just got off a plane, he flew up here. No, I thought he was running for a minute there, but no, he got up here. So I really am grateful for him. So everybody, give Roberto a great big hand. Come on up, Roberto. Thank you so much. Oh, now it's working. Dang it. So the clicker's working. So you just hit the forward and back. Thank you, sir. All right, give him another hand.
Okay, got it. Oh my God, I had to wait too long. Good afternoon. Let me kind of get an understanding of who's in the room, okay? How many of you are existing business owners? Okay, existing means that you have had at least $1 of sales. Okay, so the rest are, I'm assuming, are startups, people interested in doing business, or have companies, right? Okay. How many of you in the room have actually done any kind of business with a government entity, federal, state, city, county, PG&E, school district, anything? There's 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, okay. Yes, I am currently the executive director of the California Community Economic Development Association. I serve a membership of about 200 community development corporations, community development finance institutions, and community action agencies all across the state. These are nonprofit organizations from $1 million in revenues to $100 million revenues, focused on community revitalization, mainly in communities of color across the state of California. We're our clearinghouse, we are advocacy, we're membership to these organizations to help them to do what they do best. But recently, I spent a lot of time here in Northern California. This past year, did a feasibility study for a new community development corporation in Modesto, just down the street. Modesto, where they've already been able to secure $5 million in grant funding from the county of Stanislaus to help move their agenda for affordable housing and small business development. And did a feasibility study for another group in Stockton to do the same. So spent a lot of time in the Central Valley, a lot of time kind of on this side of the state, helping communities who really want to try to create change in their involving housing, involving small business, involving economic development, involving workforce development. So it was my pleasure when Ricardo, an old and let's put it this way, we were young and pretty years back, and now not. But way back when we worked together in the Mission District in San Francisco, doing what we're doing today, he called me up and asked me. Now, of course, when he said Brentwood, I thought, oh, dude, you're back in LA, you're over the hill with the rich people. And he's like, no, Brentwood, Northern California. So I had to go on a map to try to figure out where you were, okay? But I did basically, look at your information and demographics. Jared was really helpful in terms of telling me what kind of demographics you had. Some 5,000 businesses in your city, and about 1,000 plus of them are minority owned. So that's actually an interesting number in terms of 20% of businesses are minority owned in a city, and I hope they all at some point become members of the chamber here. But what I've been doing prior to my current tenure at CETA, I ran a very large business assistance, small business lending organization in Los Angeles that provided upwards of $25 million a year to small businesses like yours, startups and existing, Valley Economic Development Center. And our strategy was helping small businesses start helping businesses grow. And over 50% of the money we lent every year went to Black and brown businesses. My commitment for the past 35 years is how to put capital into the hands of businesses like the ones you own and help you grow your businesses. Whether it's been a building supply company that went from $1 million a year in sales to 25 million a year in sales now, he's doing very, very well looking to sell the business. Whether it is any number of restaurants in San Francisco, a number of breweries up in Northern California, businesses that, but for our capital, would not have happened. And so that's my experience. I had a client who came to me. He had a good parking lot business. Good, not great. He had two concessions in LAX. Came to me and said, look, I got 2 great concessions. It's a cash cow. I'm going to make it real money, but I need $250,000 to basically make it happen. I can't use the business itself as collateral. I don't have a home. What I did, I took the parking lot business, the business, not the land, the business as a collateral for loan and the loan. I took that business over here as collateral for the loan at the airport, made it happen, and now this guy has about 6 concessions in LAX and doing very, very well. Okay? The thing about it is, doing business with government, you need to be thinking about the financing beforehand. And another client who bid on the contract, this is a construction contract, and he didn't, at the time, he was a subcontractor. When you do a government, any kind of government project, you have to be bonded. And those of you in construction know what that means. You have to be bonded. You have to have basically insurance that you will perform. And it's not cheap. And it requires some level of underwriting, some level of collateral. The client went in, got a nice big fat subcontract for a construction project for a school, San Diego. Didn't have the bonding. He got a subcontract. General said, hey, you know what? Great, let's go. It's time to start the work. Guy went out there, started the work. General's asking me, where's your bonding? I'll get it to you. He's over here trying to get the bonding from the insurance company. At the end of the day, he couldn't come up with the bonding. Didn't have the financial support. 90 days later, after he done a good amount of work, the general threw him off the job. You don't have the money. I don't have to pay him anything. Right? Don't ever put yourself in a situation where you go out to a government contract and you think, you know what, I'll worry about the financing afterwards. I'll worry about the cash flow afterwards. I'll worry about how to basically buy your stuff now and be able to not get paid in 90 days or do the work and I have to pay my people every 2 weeks, but I don't get paid for 90 days. Okay, that's the real issue with government contract. It's a financing issue. It's not even an access issue. Okay, right now is the best time to access contracts for DEI. Right now is the best time. But unless you're financially prepared to do it, it becomes injurious to your company. Okay, that means having some level of capital, means having some access to a line of credit, means having some level of credit or support, means having some decent financial statements. These things is all about basically those who are prepared and then you have the opportunity. Right. Being ready. Certification should be important. Okay, certification is very, very, very important. You got to be certified before you can bid on these projects. Also, any number of these projects, any number of these government entities provide either some level of extra consideration to those who are certified. If you're certified as minority MBE, if you're certified as WBE, if you're certified as veteran BE, if you're certified as disabled BE, so all kinds of BEs. Okay, you want to know. Okay, you want to know. Guys, if you have a company that own, with your wife, you're at 1%. So that your 51% will know. It'll be worth it. Okay, it'll be worth it. The certification is really important. Again, it's about being ready. The certification does require some documentation. There is some financial information required. There's paperwork required. And at this point, I don't even know how many different BE certifications there are because many different agencies have their own. So you have to find out which one they use. Bidding. Bidding on government contracts is very important. and understanding how you price yourself, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's construction, whether it's planning, whether it's financial advising. Understand how you price something is extremely important for two reasons. One, if you underprice yourself, you underprice yourself. Okay, there's no room for negotiation. When you put up a bid and say, I propose to do something for this amount of money, government holds you to it. Okay? And you can't come back and later say, you know what, a bit too low. And they're like, well, too bad for you. You know? I had a client one time, he was doing a irrigation line over the 101, the 110 freeway in Los Angeles across a small bridge. And he's reading the plans. Didn't realize that the plan did, when you do irrigation, there's two kinds of ways of doing it. One with a big plastic white pipe, or the other is with big silver galvanized steel pipe. He bid it with plastic white pipe, which is about 1/10 the cost of silver steel galvanized pipe. That's the bid. So he ended up doing the project and actually ended up having to pay for the honor of doing the project. So he didn't get back his cost. But if you didn't do it, you would have basically been blacklisted from any future contracting from the agency. So bidding is really important. Understanding what you're bidding on, understanding the cost, doing it right. As opposed to the private sector where there's some negotiation, there's some back and forth, you don't have that with government. Financing, as I said before, financing is really, really key. I tell people going into government, and again, I have another client who loves government contracting because if you do it right, okay, here's the specs, you do the job, you get paid, you go away. And it's government, you don't have to worry about not getting paid. They have money. As opposed to bidding, if you're contracting with a private client who may not pay you. So getting assurances around payment that is one of the reasons why people like government, because they know they'll get paid. There's no bad debts. There's no going to have to sue government to get paid. They'll pay you. If you got the contract, the contract with you, they'll pay you. And that's a good thing about it. If you can handle the financing and the payment schedule, you can handle it. Insurance. Insurance is extremely important. You have to be insured up to kazoo when you're doing government activities. Liability insurance, vehicle insurance, your workers' compensation insurance. You need to have it all. Okay? And again, you don't want to wait until, okay, I'll get the insurance when I get the contract. Because for some reason you don't get the insurance, you just basically, the government won't complete the process with you, and now you get blacklisted for having bid on something and not being able to perform it. And in some cases, in some bidding, you will see it's called a bid bond, where you actually have to put up either cash or insurance to guarantee that if you get the contract, you're going to perform. And if you don't receive the contract, you lose your bid bond. So think about it as insurance, getting your company ready, and that starts with certification, all the way from certification, all the way down through, is extremely, extremely important. Again, government's great because you know you get paid. Government's not so great because you have that many more layers of process. And pretty much every level of government has a similar process. From bidding, to bonding, to insurance, to certification, and to getting paid. I've had a number of contracts for the past 2 years during the pandemic with governments, city governments. And while I've never worried about getting paid, I've had to go through a period of times where I didn't get paid for 90 days, which is uncomfortable. But again, if you have a line of credit, you have the cash in the bank, you're able to carry yourself through, it ends up being, end of the day, a profitable transaction. And then frequently, one can lead to another. Cities, for example, love to do business with the same vendor, good vendor, over and over again. And they refer to other cities, other locales. So once you're a good vendor, contractor, doing business with government, business will come in. Because at the end of the day, we're all looking for the same thing. At some point in your work, you want to be sitting. You want to be in a position where they're calling you, not you having to chase them. You know the day you graduate is when they call you and say, Mr. Smith, we have a need over here, $100,000 of product. Give us your price, and we're going to do business with you because we know you can deliver, and we know you can perform, and we know it's going to be a good job when you're finished. And that all of that is important in building your business reputation and in building growth. I also think this too is that from where you're located right now, you're in a unique situation where you can do business in Sacramento, you can do business in the Bay Area, even business in San Jose. You're very well located to be basically performing and doing business with government. And of course, too, government doesn't do things in onesies and twosies. It's in tens, hundreds, and thousands. It's upscale. So if you're at a time in your business growth where you've been able to build a good business, but now you want to take it to another level, government is a way of doing that. In a way, basically, again, you'll know you get paid. And and nowadays that's what we're all looking for. Get your house in order. I have people. This is kind of it goes back and forth between the idea of borrowing money, access to capital. Again, access to capital is really my strength. And I have people who come to me about borrowing money. And I ask them 3 questions. How's your credit? What were your sales? What was your gross? What was your net income last year? And what collateral, if any, do you have to provide? Credit, even in government contract, is important. Your ability to basically get a bond or insurance is a function of credit. Your ability to borrow, have a line of credit to support the transaction is a function of credit. I tell individuals who want to start businesses, who started, don't start your business unless you have a minimum credit score of 680. Minimum. Okay, it's too tough and that much more expensive to do something if you have credit below 680. Any loan you take will be priced higher. Any kind of credit you seek will be priced higher. A vehicle, truck, van, something else will be priced higher. Going into business, a fledgling business, you're already faced with challenges. Why make credit part of the challenge? Okay. So getting your credit straightened out is important. And then pick your market. Is it going to be the city? Is it going to be the state? Is it going to be the county? Is it going to be the federal government? Pick one. Don't go after a whole bunch. Just pick one. Maybe it's a city, or maybe it's a school district, or maybe it's a community college district, or Cal State, or UC. Okay? Maybe there's a community college near you that you want to see about doing some business with. Pick one. Okay? And go online. Do your research. Look to talk to one of the procurement specialists who has DEI written all over their website and has goals. Okay, and you can help them meet their goals. And you can be, one of their poster childs in terms of, yes, I did business with community college this, and look at me now. Okay, because right now is not right. If there's ever a time to do it, it's right now. Oh, yeah, I said before, don't take risks in government procurement. Don't take risks. Not worth it. Okay, a government contract can basically destroy your business. Done poorly, bid poorly, insured poorly, financed poorly, can destroy your business. It can elevate your business to a whole other level, or take it all the way down to the bottom. And it's never about get the contract and then I'll figure out how to finance it later. Never. Okay? That's a recipe for disaster. Access to contracts, access to capital. They go ahead and go back. Right now, government contracting can be very profitable if done right. Okay, and government contracting isn't necessarily a $5,000, a $1,000 opportunity, or a $5,000, or a $25,000, or $100. It's anything in between. Okay, because contracting basically is so much about what a government entity needs at that time. Okay, it can be 100 of these, or it could be painting a police station, and everything in between. Just a matter of who you want to work with and how you set your goals.